Hello, hello. Welcome, everybody. How's it going? We are here with another episode of Voice Acting Coaching. I got a lovely guest with us today. We'll get into all that jazz as soon as we get started. How have y'all been? If you were here on Monday, it's good to see your face. Well, I guess I'm not seeing your face, am I? It's good to see you again, in relative terms. If you weren't here on Monday, tell me about your weekend because I want to know. I hope everything went well. Hope everything was chilling and going fast. We had a good time on Monday. We got to do, brain just left me. We got to do like a mad scientist character on Monday. So we had a real good time working with them, doing that kind of jazz. And today we got more voice acting coaching. So that's going to be fun. And we've sort of steered away. We've had a lot of villains in like succession, both on coaching, both on voicing artist original characters on Mondays. So we're trying to steer away from the villains a little bit. Y'all know I love villains, but we're going to give a little bit of a break. Hello, RKY. What do you like to be called, RKY33? You want your whole name? I'll say your whole name if you want your whole name. So let us know. I'll call you whatever you want. Well, within reason, I suppose. The chat bot will probably tell you what you can and can't be called. But anyways, it's good to see y'all. Good to see you. My days have been, it's been iffy. I don't know how long we'll stream tonight. I don't think it's going to be too long, just because normally I go for a couple hours, but this week has been a hell of a week. So we'll go for as long as feels right, doing our little coach and jazz, doing characters. And hopefully if you're here with us, you can talk to us, you can give our guests some ideas, and have a good time while we are live tonight. For reference for next week, starting Friday, we are at ZenkaiCon, officially in person doing workshops. Is it next week? Might be 2 weeks. I'm not sure, but I think it's next week. Because today's Wednesday. It's next week. Because this is the 13th. So a week from Friday, I think is the 22nd. I think it's the 22nd. That's how it is.
It feels right.
Right? So we're officially at a convention. Sign-ups open on the 16th, which I think is this Friday, or Saturday. You can sign up if you're going to be there in person, and if not, keep an eye out. I'm going to be posting TikToks, I'm going to be posting lives, all that kind of jazz. I don't think I'm legally allowed to live stream, but you will see stuff on the other social medias. Hello, Lon Rancher. How are you? Oh my god, your emote's so cute. Oh my god, that's so cute. Is that you, Lon?
Between Lon and Rocco, the cutest. Absolutely.
I love
also
that.
Be very, very clear. If I'm not pulling my weight, they'll let us know first.
Oh, good. So these are your people that have come in to watch you today.
They're our people now. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go. Oh, I'm excited. We love people who give like hard ass, like kick it up. That's my shit. Well, welcome. I'm glad to see y'all here. Should do an SS3 replay. What's an SS3? Is this a joke I don't get? I don't know. You can tell me. I'll figure it out. I usually don't get a lot of things. So, chat, feel free to call me stupid and do whatever you need to do. I never get the answers. Yeah, so we're going to be in ZenkaiCon next week, which does mean I do believe I'm streaming Monday. This upcoming Monday. We won't be live on Wednesday because we got to ship out. We got to ship out a few days before the convention. We got to get prepared. We got to build. So we won't be live next Wednesday. But we will be live on Monday if you want to catch with us before we head out. I'll probably be talking about it nonstop because I'm excited. But otherwise, we're about 10 minutes in here. Some folks have joined us, and I say we get started. So, how this goes for people are watching us live. I also edit down and record these videos for YouTube, so you can watch finalized edited versions on YouTube. So I'll do this real quick and foremost. Hello, my YouTube people. It's lovely to have you on another episode of Voice Acting Coaching. I'm going to say that a couple of times because I forgot to do it for the episode that got posted today. And every time I go back in that edit and I didn't say it, I go, Rachel, god damn it. So hello. My lovely guest, I'm going to have you introduce yourself, whatever name you'd like to go by, where people can find you, and what you're, planning on, excited to do, anything you want to say. So go right ahead and introduce yourself.
Cool. My name's Mike Yeager, and I'm really appreciative of being you brought a British person on, and you didn't ask them to play the villain, which is honestly way to go against typecast. I appreciate
Oh
that.
my god.
But everybody calls me Mikey, or I'm trying to make Mickey J happen, but
Mickey
it doesn't seem to be
J.
getting any. Yeah, it's
Okay.
not getting any traction yet, so Mikey will do. And I'm sort of out there, MikeYeager.co.uk or at Mike Yeager VA in a few places. So
Okay.
that's me.
Chat at any point. You guys are arbiters of quiet or loud. So let me know if any of that's the case. Sometimes I have to turn it up or turn it down depending on our guest. Also depending on how fucking loud I am. So it just kind of goes each way. I turned you up a little bit, so hopefully we'll got you there. Thank you for being here. Also, it's hilarious to me that you say that I didn't typecast. Yes, lots of Mikey. It's hilarious to me that you say I didn't typecast you as the villain, and yet you brought me a bunch of characters, and I said,
course.
"What about the butler?" As if that's not the most typecast British bullshit on the planet.
I'm gonna have it so easy. It's gonna be, what voice are you gonna use? Probably mine. Yeah.
Probably just mine. Oh
Yep.
my god, yo. I didn't even think about it. I genuinely was like, I remembered that you were in some sort of like time zone that was very much ahead of me. So I assumed, oh my god, what is that emote, Lon Lon? Lord help me. You guys have the best emotes. Holy shit. All UK is evil, fair.
Yep.
Yep.
It's just
See,
it's just layers and dastardly plans everywhere. That's the whole deal. So
But
we're gonna try and be
you're gonna try and be
well-behaved
nice
today.
and calm
Yeah.
and well behaved. See, the thing
Mhm.
is though, like, we have evil too over here, but your evil is like nice and refined. Where I feel like our evil is just like I stole a shotgun and now I'm gonna shoot people. Like,
It's a different vibe, but they're both as fun. So
this is true. This is true, right? It's like, do you want to be off your rocker, no brain, or do you want to be like kingpin of the crime? You just gotta kind of pick one.
I'd say you can do either and just flip it with the voices. It's good fun.
That's true. This is a fair point. Poor UK? Nah, no poor UK. Sorry. Listen, I am already in the part of the US that people, yeah, dang is right. I'm already in the part of the US that people are already like, fuck that part. So, like, I'm gonna rag on whoever I got, okay? Like, we're gonna rag on whoever we got, okay? But I promise I won't do any bad British impressions for you. That one I'll give to you.
Honestly, I've had a few American coaches, and it's the first thing. At some point, you won't even notice it happen. It will just fall out, and it's okay. We'll give you a bit of grace. If we do it for half an hour, I might flag it. But I'd say if you want to give it a go here and there, just take the opportunity.
That feels so. Do you ever get offended?
I don't, but Lon is my fiance. We've been in like Texas, and it's happened.
Oh my
and she,
God.
on my behalf, has been like. So yeah, it's good fun. It's good fun. Like I say, I don't think that people can help it. As soon as the opportunity arises to go Downton Abbey, they're like, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, very nice to meet you. Oh, wonderful. Yes, cheerio, old pal.
Bro, RK says I'm leaving if there's no bad UK accents. Okay, but UK is a little different from like British because okay, so this is gonna sound bad now. Y'all can laugh at me, but like there's the whole thing of like they ask you what accents you can do, and so the only thing I will ever say is I do like general rather than specific, because the same way that the US has like southern versus here versus there versus all in the US, y'all have that too. Like there is a difference, you know?
Yeah,
Like
you can drive for an hour and get like 3 or 4 different accents.
yes,
So,
exactly. The bad accents happen frequently. Well, maybe I'll have to join the pool just for austerity's sake.
honestly, if we walk away today and I haven't got to get at least a sample of your general UK, I'm going to be devastated. So
Oh my God.
whenever you feel comfortable, just let it rip.
Yo, the funny part is, so The only two that I really do are General Irish and General British. I get a little bit more away with my Irish because my grandparents are literally from Belfast. So
Cool.
they're dead, but I get a little bit more of an excuse of like, I could literally open my phone and call a relative in Belfast, so it's okay if my accent's not as good.
Just pull up your 23andMe and be like, no, it's fine. Look, it's fine.
It's okay. I'm allowed to be like discriminatory. No, I'm just kidding. Don't clip that. Don't clip that.
There we go. You see, this is why the VOD gets refined. It's suddenly just like, oh, there was a bit missing. I don't know what happened
That's
there.
exactly what happens. But the British one, oh my god, you would laugh so fucking hard because the way that I do all of mine, even like other American accents, is usually you like start them, or your way to get into them is you have some sort of like a character as a reference. So a lot of Americans will use like the fucking Brave movie for the Scottish accent, and it's so funny. And the one for British, oh my god. If you ever played Tears of the Kingdom and or Breath of the Wild, you know the horrible Zelda British accent.
He's from Canada.
I know! That's why it's bad! No shade to her, she's amazing. I'm glad. I hope she got paid so much money. But like that is my brain went, that should be our British accent, and I had no control. So I fucking sound like her. Yes, the one from British. I sound like her. And every time I do it, I'm like, no.
So like my one American accent, I was always selling as like my anime protagonist voice, and we've tried using it out in the wild in like Virginia and in Texas.
Yeah.
And if you just go into like GameStop and you're like, "Hey, I was wondering if I could get this from over there," and people are like, "Okay, okay, buddy, what's wrong with you?"
Bro, that's me anytime I put it on. I swear to God, it's so funny. It's also like, I definitely is one of those things of it depends where you go, but like hasn't tried it enough, it needs to do it more. Listen, sometimes you will try and you will try and you try, and then you'll find the one person or the one character where you're like, all of a sudden it makes sense and I understand how to do the voice. The other one, the American one that is like every time I look at an audition and it says it, I'm like, no, is so there's a bunch of different types of Southern. Y'all probably know that. But like the only Southern that my brain has ever picked up on is like fucking Foghorn Leghorn, which y'all might not know who that is, but you know who Foghorn Leghorn? Okay, yeah. So it's him, but then him combined with Princess Tiana, who is not Texan. Foghorn Leghorn is Texas. Even if he's horrible, he's Texas. And somehow my brain takes that and combines it with the Louisiana of Princess Tiana. And you get this weird fucking Southern bullshit. And I swear to God, I can't go to the South because they'll kill me. Like,
I keep seeing copy come through, and I'm always like, yeah, I can do this, and I'll get there like, how y'all doing? This is
Right?
definitely logistically real. I'm sure people will
Yeah.
be talking like this all the time.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
a student, for some reason, I never actually get as far as submitting the audition. It's pretty strange.
Oh no. I have the maybe no shame, to be honest with you. So like I'll submit them all.
If it's recorded, you're like, yep, that's going in.
Yeah, literally I'm like, no, it's getting sent now and I hope they never see my name again. Like, this is incredible. Line, you say that now. You say that now. I done fucked. Yup, 100%. Like, it's one of those things where sometimes you fuck up and you gotta look at it and you gotta determine, do I send this in today? I think I do. Like, the amount,
The
I will,
bravery required
listen,
for that.
well, okay, so what I will say is, I'm gonna say this straight up. Y'all will never clip this because you never clip anything good and that I shouldn't be shameful for. But what I'm gonna say straight up is, don't ever do what I do and turn in bad accent recorded pieces. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. However,
They will remember you.
they will remember you. However, the amount of times I have auditioned for a role that specifically said, if it wasn't an accent, clipping activated, literally. The amount of times I auditioned for a role that specifically said something that wasn't like accent, but was like, we want mid to low dude, or we want anime protagonist, or we want, you know, like such and such. And I will audition for it either with my dude voice or specifically, like, I love the ones that are like, we want him to sound like a little weird and snooty, and these are usually dude roles, and I'll do one of two. I'll do the snooty ones, I'll be like, ha 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 ha, and do like the Yu-Gi-Oh character. Hi, Fox Daddy, it's good to see you. Or sometimes you'll get the roles that are like, think like classic, they're like, he's kind of, do you know the movie Hercules? Like the Disney animated one? Okay. You know the Danny DeVito, the little goat guy, and how he's very like, brah, 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 brah. They'll want that, but instead of auditioning like that, because I have a relatively high-pitched voice, for some reason, my brain just goes, what if we're in the mafia now, and this is our voice when we do all the dialogue? And I've done that voice for those characters, and I will get fucking messages that are like, this is not what we wanted, but we now want it. Can you do this?
Yeah.
And I'm like, yes, I can, bitch.
Yes.
So, like, do weird voices. If they don't fit, do them. Just maybe don't do accents. You can't do, but again, I'm a hypocrite, so.
I just love this idea that somebody's going for like a Yu-Gi-Oh kind of like Weevil voice. then they're getting like a mafioso, and they're like, yes, no, this is it. This is definitely what we're after. Thank you.
There's one that's my favorite, and I won't say what project it is because I don't know if I'm allowed, but there's one audition that I did on stream. It's one of the first auditions I did on stream because they were public auditions, and it was for cats as like detectives. And so there was, so there was a bunch of different like voices that they wanted, and they had this guy cat who was like a big orange cat, because of course it was, and they wanted like this sort of like grumpy-ish kind of street cat energy, and I was like, but this is a detective noir. I'm doing the mafia voice. Like, I'm going to do the hey type of energy. And I auditioned with that, and within 24 hours, because it was like a phone call type of one, I literally got a phone call that was like, we'll change it to a girl. Can you do that voice? I was like, yeah. I was like, hell yeah. So I got cast in it. It was dope as fuck. Sorry, this is what happens is I start talking, and now we're here for years. Cool. I'm glad you can be here for a bit of time, because this is how it goes.
We'll be good. We'll be good. Like I said, I snuck in like the best nap.
Oh,
I took the afternoon off work, and I was like, I'm gonna sleep for a couple of hours. 5 hours passed. So I'm so good. I'm so ready. So.
Okay, thank God, because I know it's late for y'all. Chat that is here for Mikey, I hope y'all are okay to be up this late, because I know it's late for y'all. We'll get going. I love these little emotes. They're so cute. Oh my God. Y'all, everybody that comes in here with my emotes, I love it. Okay, so we will get started. We will get pushed in. Eventually, I will give you the Canadian British Zelda, because I think y'all have earned it. But for now, what I'm going to have you do, editing Rachel, I'm sorry that it's 23 minutes in and we're starting right now. What I'm going to have you do is I'm going to have you just read, not perform, the line of dialogue that we're using for the character here today. So go ahead and read it for me.
Okay. I believe that you will become the strongest champion the world has ever seen. But for now, you must master the basics.
Okay, beautiful. Now I'm going to have you tell us a little bit about the character that you created, the scene that you created for this, and then give us the 3 adjective personality traits.
Cool. So we've gone as tropey as we possibly could with the line. So this is sort of like a butler, steward, caretaker kind of character, slightly older gentleman. Definitely very prim and proper, and he knows his P's and his T's and his Q's and whichever things that prim and proper people know that I don't. He knows his forks, we'll put it that way.
Okay.
Fairly rigid, but with a sort of flowing elegance to him, maybe with a bit of a past, but right now he is serving the household of whoever the young miss or master is that he's addressing. The scene in general, the feeling is that the young miss or master has, they live at the estate, they've in some way inherited some kind of power that makes them significant and makes him believe that they will be the greatest of all time in some way. But this little kid is a little kid. So when they're told, like, hey, you got to do 100 reps, you got to do your homework, you got to put in the work to do this, they're like, oh, but do I have to? So it's encouraging this little character to, put in the work. You will be the greatest. But right now, you're just a kid and you need to go and do your homework.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So our 3 words that we had were purposeful, well-mannered, and nurturing.
I love this. Okay, so we've been talking about tropes this whole time. I'm gonna even more tropify it. Your bitch is a DC bitch. So like immediately I'm like Alfred.
Musty Wayne.
Musty
Which
Wayne.
Alfred? Like the well-spoken
Oh.
Alfred or the Pennyworth? Like, you alright, mate? How's it going?
Oh
That
my
sort of.
god! Wait, I might make you play with both. Just because
Can't believe.
yeah, but I think it's a cool idea to be like, oh, we'll play with him as like nice and refined, and then halfway through I'm gonna be like, but what if you like just got this child and you're like the 26-year-old? What the fuck do you mean I have to raise it? Like what? Oh, I love. Oh, we're doing both of those. I
Okay,
like
great,
that.
great.
Okay, so. For my folks, oh, I'm smacking things. Don't smack things. For my folks who are on my YouTube video and for folks who are joining us live and new here for this series, I always ask for 3 adjectives that are core personality traits. The way that I personally develop my characters is by using adjectives and words to describe their personality. I don't see visuals, so words are very important to me because they mean different things to my head and they help me translate both my acting and different vocal structures into characters. So I ask my guests to bring them too, even if they're not word people, so that we have a sort of basis that we can both sort of jump from. So purposeful, well-mannered, nurturing. Now I like these 3 for a couple of reasons. The first is that your concept, like you said, of someone being very prim and proper, sort of like butler type, fits these really well. Like if you were to just give me the words well-mannered and purposeful, I'm like, we're royalty, we're somewhere in this high status, right? I'm immediately gonna think this. So I think those were good choices, and I like nurturing for this line specifically because it's very much a part of their personality that is occurring in this moment in time. So it's helpful to tie into the scene itself. I like all 3 of these together. While we're playing around and fucking with shit, if we feel like anything isn't quite working or doesn't quite feel right, we'll go back to these core 3 and see if they line up with the core 3 that we developed.
Cool.
Any questions or anything you want to say before I throw you into it?
I think I'm cool, unless chat's like, nope, we're gonna scrap the whole thing. I think we're good.
Yeah, chat's just like, chat comes in one day and they're like, actually, what if you didn't? I'm just like, oh no. Oh no, the will of the gods has spoken. Oh my lord. Listen, chat could tell me to do a lot of shit and I would say yes, but chat, you don't know that. You didn't hear that, okay? Okay.
As soon as streamer brain engages, it's like, yeah, okay, what do we need? Yeah, I'll do it. I'll do it for the views. I'll do anything for the views. We're gonna be fine. It's gonna be great.
Have you ever seen, oh my god, I'm gonna get off topic. I apologize. Have you ever
Go on.
seen the butlers equal hot, excited? You are correct, Lon Lon. You are correct.
No pressure. No
Listen.
pressure.
Especially coming from her or your partner, you better feel pressure now. Yeah.
It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be great.
Okay. You hear everything, Fox Daddy? No, you don't. Close those ears. No, you don't. No, you don't. All right. So then I'm gonna do what I do with everyone. Oh no, I gotta give you the warning first. So yeah, I always forget, and then I remember, right, when I'm about to send you into shit. So, it's not a warning. Basically, what I'm gonna let you know is the phrase that you're always gonna hear from me before you start doing the piece is whenever you're ready. Sometimes I'll say, whenever you're ready, you may begin, go for it, fuck us up, whatever comes after it happens. Sometimes nothing does, but whenever you're ready will be said. And then you can take as much time as you need, whether you close your eyes, whether you take a breath, whatever the case is. And whenever you are ready, after I say that, you can do the piece. Once you finish saying the words, do whatever you need to do to take yourself out of the moment. You'll probably see me, depending on if you're viewing my screen, out of the corner of your eye, like reacting like there's no tomorrow. I apologize. Try to not get distracted. But if you pause or anything, that's okay. We can always restart. I'll keep my mouth shut while you're talking, and I'll just physically react because that's how I am. And then when you're done, we'll discuss about it. I'll ask you how it went and all that jazz. Are you ready?
I think so.
Okay, here we go. The famous phrase, whenever you're ready, perform it for me.
I believe that you will become the strongest champion the world has ever seen. But for now, you must master the basics.
Okay, beautiful, soft, well to go. How did that feel to you? What was running through your brain?
The the mouth placement that I chose was a little bit lispier than I intended. That was the only
Okay.
thought I was having at the time. Just a bit of airflow that I wasn't anticipating.
Okay.
And we took a slightly unnatural sort of hitch between two words, but
What
it
words?
was what it was. Uh, I think it was strongest champion, which literally as I rolled into the next line, it's like I
Mm.
just forgot to read ahead. I just landed on the word as I got there.
That
So
happens.
yeah,
So those were the things
yeah.
that were running through your brain for that?
Just in terms of like my live commentary, that's what I picked up.
Okay. Okay. So what was your thought process with where you were maybe where you were placing the voice, but what was your thought process when you sort of went into it? Like what are you we know you're seeing a little bit, right? But were you focusing in on anything in particular about it?
I think in terms of myself, it was like a
Mm.
little bit of physicality,
Okay.
and in terms of the conversation, it was very much like a sit down, close
Oh,
sort of
okay.
thing, which again sort of reflected rather than being like a, I believe that you will become just a much smaller, more intimate, like I'll believe that you'll become
Okay.
just a yeah.
Okay. So let's develop the person you're talking to. I think when you
Mhm.
have someone directly that you're talking to, when you do pieces, it always makes connection easier to build and emotion easier to build. So let's develop this character in particular that you're talking to. Now, this is a young person of some kind.
Mhm.
How long have they been under your care?
If we're the older gentleman, then probably since they're a child. So if we say that they're sort of like 12,
Okay.
14, they're young. So we've
Got
probably
you.
known them for their whole life.
All right, cool. So, how involved do you think you were with this person's upbringing?
I think strongly but peripherally. So not
Okay.
like a father figure, but definitely present for all the big events. Sort of helping to serve the cake on each birthday, but not necessarily being the one to pass the knife.
Okay. Ooh, I love that analogy. Damn. Okay. Um All right. So, not quite father figure but present there, a figure in some way shape or form.
Mm,
You've known them for a good ass long time. If we're assuming they're at least like 10 to 12 or older depending on what you're thinking,
mm,
then that's a good decade or more of your life.
yep.
Um so, here's what I want to do. I want you to, and I'm going to have you do it before I ask. I
Mm,
want you to think about, before you go into this next run of this line, what exactly your relationship is with this child. You're not a
mhm,
father figure, right? But there needs to be some sort of, there's a reason that you're speaking the way you're speaking. You're using the words you're using. You're not talking in Gen Z, right? You're not talking the way I talk. You're very specifically using these words, these punctuations, using this manner of speaking. What exactly is this relationship, or is this exact moment that is causing you to speak the way you're speaking and not just straight up be like, yo, you'll be fine? Like, what are you talking, right? There's obviously going to be some sort of background in history that's a part of the character because we want him to be a little, like, more prim and proper, but we all have a shift in the way of whether in this moment we're prim and proper, and in this moment we're whenever, and in this moment wherever. So
mhm,
make an internal decision on why or how or what he's feeling that is causing him to speak these words and in this way to this child.
mhm,
Um, Take a moment while when I get you started here, feel out what that is for you. If you go into it, and this goes for any exercise in the future, if you go into it, do an exercise after I've asked you to think about something or do something, you do it, and then you come out and you're like, not only did that not work, I had no idea what I was doing, that's okay. We're just
cool.
playing with shit. So it's okay if it
Yeah,
doesn't make sense and it doesn't work. There doesn't have to be an answer. But
cool.
that's what I want you to think about for this one. Did that make sense?
It does, and I've got something in mind. Do you want me to share it now, or should we share it after?
Nope, I'm gonna have you go straight for it. So whenever you're ready, go ahead.
I believe that you'll become the strongest champion the world has ever seen. Gotta roll that again.
Yep, go ahead.
I believe that you'll become the strongest champion the world has ever seen. But for now, you must master the basics.
Okay, tell me about it. What's the thought?
So, this is not this guy's kid,
Mm-hmm.
but the guy has dedicated a chunk of his life to
Mm-hmm.
this family, and he feels that kind of although he doesn't have a son or daughter, he feels that connection.
Okay.
But he's also frustrated with the fact that
Mm.
there's so much potential that will be squandered if there
Mm.
isn't the effort and energy put into like mastering whatever this craft is. So I think
Yes.
it's a sort of it's a feeling that he wouldn't necessarily feel that he's allowed to feel, and keeping prim and proper is because that's the expectation of him. But inside of him, he's like, I will absolutely. You're the boss. You do exactly what you're gonna do, but you need to get this done if you're gonna fulfill like your potential.
Okay, I love this. There's a couple things in there that I really like. I love that you've sort of now built him out as you've been, you thought about the situation and why he's talking the way he's talking. We've built a little bit more about him, which is he doesn't have kids of his own, and he's in this person's life. So, to some way, shape, or form, this kid probably does feel like his own kid, but he knows on an intellectual level, on the level that he works for this family, it is not his child. And so there's definitely that balance of, if I was your fucking father,
I'd be telling
slap
you,
you.
get the fuck back out there.
Literally, I would slap you so hard, bro.
Mhm.
But I do not need to get fired. And also,
Mhm.
I'm not your dad. Like,
Mhm.
so beautiful, beautiful interpretation of what was happening there and sort of the emotions that are inside of it. I also get it together, little master. That's correct. And I really like actually this idea of a little bit of frustration where he's like, you have so much potential, don't throw it away, you little piece of shit. To like I want to sort of dig into making these even stronger a little bit. So there is, of course, this sort of posterity and front that he has to put on because of the position that he's in. I want to flip that on its head for a second. I think the best way that we come back to calmer characters is if we throw away the calm while we're playing with it. So I want to throw away this front that he needs to keep in the position that he's in. I want you to do this line speaking to this child with no sense of I have a role in this family. I want emotions on the front of what you're saying. I want power. I want, whatever is like, I am feeling feelings right now, put it to the front of what you're about to perform and take away absolutely everything about decorum, about station, about that kind of jazz, and see what gets pulled towards that front. Try not to be like, I'm going to be angry here, I'm going to be mysterious here, just let it come as if you were talking to someone who is just the same status, the same age, the same, like they're your friend, you're like, bro, like, okay?
Okay, I'm gonna gain down then, because if we're gonna play with some emotions, let's.
That works.
See how
I'll
that
turn
would
you
go.
down on my end a little too.
Cool.
You're relatively quiet for me, but I think that's okay.
Cool. I think that might be about to change. We'll see how we do.
Okay. I'm also a loud bitch, so like it's hard to peek. Okay.
We'll see how we do.
Whenever you're ready, go ahead. I'll watch the volume.
I believe you'll become the strongest champion the world has ever seen. But for now, you must master the basics.
Good. Do it again for me. Punch it even harder.
I believe you'll be the strongest champion the world's ever seen. But for now, you must master the basics.
Good. You don't need to yell as much. Punch it and go a little slower.
I believe that you'll become the strongest champion the world has ever seen. But for now, you must master the basics.
There it is. That's what I want. Okay, so that was exactly doing what I was trying to get to, which is taking this sort of like core of, I'll ask you what emotions you felt. What emotions were coming through there while you were doing those over and over?
We definitely took the frustration to the fore. That was definitely the thing that we were like, okay. And the first couple of times it definitely felt a little bit forced, like trying to bring anger through volume, which is not always the way to go. That third, slightly more controlled one was definitely like, this is a man who spends 24/7 in a controlled space, but he is bubbling. So I felt that more in the third one. It's still a refined gentleman, but somebody who is like sick to the back teeth of having to deal with this day in, day out, day in, day out.
Absolutely, right? And so that's kind of what I was pushing to is like in order for us to get to this controlled sense of emotions at the forefront, we have to start by forcing it and then forcing it. And then finally, we're like, I know what it feels like to be in this state of yelly, forced anger and frustration. Now I know how to take that and channel it back to where this character needs to be while still having those emotions come forth. And you really, really hit on that third one because the first one was very much me asking you to let go of the character that you had built, which was hard. I could tell it was hard. The second one was, okay, when I'm angry, I yell. And I was like,
Yeah.
no. And but that does happen, right? But we just can't do it for dialogue. So that's fine. Some characters are there. And so the third one was very much me going, all right, when we're angry, we yell and we start talking faster, which was happening in that second one. So let's take down your accessibility to the volume and let's take down, I like to take things away with people to force them to play. So I took away your volume and I took away your speed and now we got it to where we want it, where it's like, I am angry, I'm going to forceful, go right ahead, Fox Daddy, we'll see you later. And you were in this space of almost as if, I call it, let me rearrange my words. I like to say that a lot of characters, when we try to do emotions like angry or sad or things like that, the reason why sometimes it's difficult to reach there is because we're going from the idea of angry is this big, large thing, or sadness is this big, scary thing. And in my opinion, a better way to reach there is if angry goes from this big, large thing to attention. Attention that is in your body, attention that is in your fists, attention that is in your throat, attention that is in your brain, your words, wherever it needs to be. So when we got to that third one, we went from this big, large angry to, okay, let's put it into tension. And the tension came out, one, physically, when you were doing it. You were very much as if you were gritting your teeth the entire time. And I was like, there it is. There's the anger. It's it's right here. And then because it was manifesting here for you, and I told you to slow down, all of a sudden this dialogue went from like, dude, what the fuck are you doing to listen to me? Like it became less about I'm projecting it towards you and more look at me. Look at me and listen to what I have to say. I'm angry because you're not listening, not because you're messing up, because you're not hearing what I have to tell you. And it really registered at the end because when you did the last part of you must master the basics, the beforehand, what it was happening is it was almost sort of like mushing together just a little bit where you were hitting must hard. And that was sort of like your pause moment where you were like, okay, I say must because that's the emphasis word. And then I say master the basics.
Then I need to like just close it up.
Exactly. Yeah. But when we got to that third and all of a sudden you had this tension here from the anger, your body literally would not let you do that. So we had this moment of like you must, and you had to eat this sort of tea, and then you got to master and you had to eat another one, and then you got to base 6 and you had to eat the end of that with this gritted teeth that we now had a beautiful like spaced out line that was like every single word was full of this, you have to do the basics instead of must master the basics. Did any of that feel like it was resonating with you, or do you have any commentary or thoughts on that?
No, I think that was actually a really good summary of where I was at as well. I think like yelling is a really quick shorthand. Like be angry, it's like okay, I'll be loud. But you're right, the sort of that kind of tense feeling, that locked like tension that you experience, I think is a better, more honest version of, because when you get angry, you don't just like if I'm having a bad day at work, I'm like, oh right. Just sort of like, yeah, that's fine. Of course, that's fine. Everything's fine. It's and I think as well, it's certainly something that I'm aware of with my particular speech pattern. I definitely run words together quite regularly. So even when I bring that into a more refined voice, there's still that kind of that noise that continues between the words. There's no real like hard stop. whereas in a sort of with an American accent, you tend to have
Yeah.
a lot clearer separation
Yes.
between each word. So I think doing something that also helps pry those apart as well,
Mm.
especially for something that's going to be potentially globally available to somebody, makes a lot of sense.
Well, cool. I'm glad that it resonated a bit. And I actually really like that you speak to like the cadence of your speech pattern and little like bits and pieces of it. I've brought that up on when I'm coaching words. See, this is the part that the live stream gets is like I do not think before I speak. I have crazy brain. I have very neurodivergent brain, and so I will just talk without thinking. And so then you get a
Honestly,
yeah.
it's like streamer brain as well. It's like we're live. We have to keep talking. Never stop. Never stop. Always keep content. Always content.
See,
So yeah,
unfortunately,
100%.
this is just me 24/7. I'm just built like this.
Honestly, the second I go from live and I'm like, oh, is this exciting? Yeah, okay, we gotta keep talking, gotta run for 5 hours. And as soon as it finishes, I'm like,
Oh,
silence for like an hour.
I see. I feel that energy. I'm very streamer brain line 100%. I'm very lucky enough. It's one of the reasons why I love doing this and why I love like coaching and things like that. I am a built and born entertainer. So like, you will literally, if you had a camera on me, I talk to myself like consistently 24/7. I have conversations with myself. It's why I have cats. My dad likes to joke that I got cats so people think I'm talking to them instead of to myself.
Perfect.
Yeah. So I just don't stop. It's one of the reasons I love this. One of the reasons I'm trying to make it my career. But yeah, because of that, that's what you get when you're live with us, folks, is you get me spilling over my words and going, no. Literally, I'm like, what? But yes, anyways, what I was trying to say was, when I do these coachings with people, when I talk to people about voice acting, answer questions and things like that, and one of the things that I know for myself as well, and that you mentioned with like the American thing, is cadence and speech pattern is a lot of the reasons that people who want to get into voice acting or even just like interested in voice things or anything in general feel like they are, not that you are, not that I am, that's just what I'm saying, feel like they're on the beginner spectrum sometimes, is because they'll hear themselves and they'll record an audition and they'll go and they'll listen to it and then they'll listen to someone else's who has understood what they do in their own speech pattern and they'll go, why don't I sound like that? And they'll go to like different people, they'll ask different questions, they'll get different coaches, take different classes, and they still sound like that and they don't understand what it is. And that's fine, because if no one tells you, how the shit are you supposed to know, right? And I love talking to folks, and this is why I tell it to everyone. I'm so glad that you also are on the same wavelength of like, it's not that there's like a magical mastery 100, like here's what you do to fix things or here's what you're doing wrong. It's that you have to listen to yourself and understand what your natural patterns are, what your natural takes are, and also understand that I say a lot in this series, and I tell people all the time, there is no right, there is no wrong, there's no good, there's no bad, it's only what works for you in that situation. So you're 100% correct, right? You know your own speech patterns. I like to say my cadence is very fucking recognizable. Even not on the American spectrum, because Americans don't know what my fucking accent is. I don't know what my fucking accent is. But like, even not on that spectrum, the way that I talk is so very specific that you could literally like turn everything off and have never seen me and you would hear my voice speaking in this pattern even if I'm doing a different pitch and go, yeah, I've heard that bitch before. Yeah, it's like, it's one of those things. So I understand the hardships of being like, fuck, I did it again. I always do that because I am that bitch. That said, this has been long and I talk forever and we know this. Your sort of continuing words together is not as prominent to somebody who, I guess, doesn't know the accent as well or isn't as familiar with it as you might think it is. So just fair detail to give you, I feel like, because I don't hear it. I do not hear it.
I think one of the big things is it's something that can sometimes lose detail. So if I'm running a long sentence, say I'm doing a presentation which is very like very technical. Say I'm talking about like an IT piece, like in order to spin up a new VM, you need to go into the hypervisor and you need to make sure the platform's available. Now, if you don't speak British, some of those
Get a little.
get a little bit mushed together, which is why there's a big push for everyone to be using their authentic voice. We're trying to book authentic voices.
Yeah.
But my kind of like money voices are very much on the British side, kind of going into that bigger, okay, so now I need you to go into, and then you can hear that kind of cleaner separation. And then on the American side, like I say, that like, hey guys, let's go and do something. So it's very strange to be in a market where people are like, I want to have your real voice.
Yup.
And then never actually sell your
It's a
actual
lie.
voice.
It's the biggest lie that I learned in this industry real fast. Just see, now we're talking about industry, but like it's one of those funny things because during like my first couple, like I got out of acting school and I was like, I want to go into this jazz. I'm gonna talk to people who know what they're doing. The problem is people who know what they're doing have been in it for too long that what they did isn't what happens anymore for the most part. Now certain genres it still does. Like a lot of what's the word I'm looking for? A lot of industrial work or like e-learning is still exactly the same. I did e-learning for a while. I still technically pick up gigs here and there. A lot of that stays consistent in what they want because they're trying to reproduce the same material over and over and over and over again. So that stays consistent, but there is that whole push, exactly like you said, of authentic. We don't want a performer. We don't want like an ad salesman. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
I think it's one of those things where it's like we need to be absolutely natural as long as it's very, very marketable, and we need it's I mean I the overarching idea of like we want real people instead of like, hey, buy your premium bonds over makes loads of sense. But there is sort of a tipping point where it's like, okay, but you can't walk in and be completely yourself. Let's be a refined version of yourself. So it's just kind of finding that balance. But like I say, I never get to bring me to the booth. I bring just like slight alterations of myself.
And that's one of the reasons that I shifted from like all forms of voiceover work to specifically character work, because character work is it's kind of like pro/con, but it's so very open about the fact that like we specifically want you to put on a voice. We're just trying to look for people that have the exact voice that we want. So it's one of those things where like you don't have to worry about someone trying to be like, yes, we want your authentic voice and all its little quirks when they don't. There's the flip side of like they're very blunt about the fact that they don't want you. But like for me it was easier because I tried to do like ACX audiobook stuff and I listened to like maybe 0.2 of like a recording and I was like, no wonder people don't want to listen to me talk to shit. I don't want to listen to me read them a book. Like, my cadence, my voice, I have a lot of glottal shit. All my vowels are back here. That's really unpleasant to listen to, even for American speakers, because of how far back, like, my voice sits and where it sits in here. And that's not, like, I don't say that as, like, an insult or, like, oh, I want people to feel bad for me. I listen to it, I'm like, what the fuck? Like, when I'm listening to somebody read me a book, I want it to be as if they're not there. Like, I want it to be my head being like, oh, yes, this thing is happening, and then a character said this. You will not get that with my voice. You will hear me every time.
I think you've definitely kind of got the energy of, like, hey, I'm going to keep you engaged, I'm going to keep you entertained, I will have your attention. So if somebody's like, I'm going to doze off to sleep, and you're there like, let's go, okay.
Exactly. Like, and that's when I listened to maybe one or two and I was like, yeah, I don't want to listen to myself do an audiobook. I'm jumping out of this market. I don't want it. Because if I wouldn't want to listen to myself, I don't want other people listening to me. Now, that said, doesn't mean I haven't heard that feedback in character work, but I don't give a fuck about that feedback in character work. So, like,
but I think a lot of people walk in and go like, nah, nobody wants to hear my voice. My voice isn't what people are after, and all these things. And I think a lot of times our self-narrative isn't quite right either, because I think a lot of the things that you flagged about your voice just now, I'm listening to you like, I don't know about that. So there's definitely
That's fair.
there's what we tell ourselves, but what you were saying before about like, oh man, I'm gonna submit it anyway. the market might want exactly that. So
That's true. That's true. That's a fair
put it
point.
out there and see what happens.
Absolutely, right? Definitely put it out there, see what happens. As long as you're comfortable with whatever you send out, I think it's fine and dandy. There are always rules that you technically have to play by. It depends what you want to do, right? Like for character shit, one day, I'm a little DC baby, as we talked with Alfred and all that shit. One day, I want to be in that kind of like animation work. So there are things that I literally cannot put out or they will blacklist me. So like there's all sorts of, you just got to pick and choose what goal you want and then follow the pathway that leads there. Lon says, meanwhile, there's millions wanting the Rachel Schumacher audiobook series.
Let's go.
You don't. I promise you, you don't.
I've got Audible tokens. You put it out there, we'll buy it. It's going to be great.
Oh my god. Bro, if I ever got to do an audiobook, you know what kind of audiobook I tell you to do? I tell you what kind of audiobook I tell you to do. First of all, I love that little turtle emote. That thing's so fucking cute. Is it Squirtle or is it a turtle?
I can't tell. At first I was like, it's definitely Squirtle. Now I'm like, not
It's
100%
green.
sure.
Yeah, I think it's just a turtle, but it's cute. It's
It is
adorable. But yeah, no, if I was going to do audiobooks, just a turtle, okay. If I was going to do audiobooks, it would have to be one of two things. I would either want it to be like the craziest shit you've ever heard in your life, where you're just like, oh, this seems normal, and you turn it on, it's just like, today in 1927, like, you're just, that's the whole book, and you're like, whoa, or I would specifically want it to be like the most boring thing you've ever heard in your life. So like those people who put on audiobooks that are like, in brain surgery in the 1800s, there was a style, and that's just like the whole. It's gotta be one of the two. Like, I want nothing in between.
It was great seeing that switch though. As soon as you got there, it was like a full, like, you just centered yourself, like, I know who this person is. We're okay.
It's funny because so when I first started doing like e-learning stuff, they try to put you with like a partner first, because most countries, so the type of e-learning work that I do on occasion is for folks that are learning English. So most countries, when they do audio things of folks learning English, they want a man and a woman's voice, and then they do them in sync so they can give you little scenes to listen to. And then you answer questions that are like, what did the man want for dinner? And you write the thing down. And so that's what they started me with. We got like maybe 5 gigs before the person that was like the mediator between these companies was like, hey, you said you do characters. And I was like, yeah, that's what I prefer to do. And she was like, do you do children's voices? And I was like, yeah, I can do both little boy and little girl. They're like my favorites and they're great. And she was like, great, do samples for me. I sent them. It's the only work I get now are the little boy. It's not even the little girl. They only want the little boy voice. And so it's real funny because that like style voice was the original like e-learning voice that I did for like the man and woman ones. And so it's funny to me because that voice is like the voice of like, I don't use it because no one wants it. Meanwhile, everyone else is just like, can you just sound like Ash Ketchum? That's what we want. And I'm like, okay. Like,
You can do that.
yeah, it's fine. I'm okay, it's fine. I can't call it that, but if that's what you want, I give it that. Oh. Wow, see, now I've been talking forever. I apologize. This is what happens.
Honestly, you just took it back to the only bit of like e-learning, like for specifically learning language overseas I've done. Every word I needed to say like this. And if you're in a booth for an hour speaking at that tempo, there's this thing that happens in your brain where you're like, I don't know if I've been doing this script or not. I'm online, I think. You're somewhere between bored, going mad, and just sort of slowly fraying at the seams. It's great fun. I recommend it to anyone.
Oh, 100%. If you ever want to do any kind of voice acting, you have to do some form of traditional e-learning because you do not understand why you get paid $50 to $100 to $200 an hour, unfinished, not finished recording, just raw click start. You keep all your mistakes in. They tell you not to cut them out. You get paid per that much money per hour. You will never understand it until you are in that booth going, how long has it been since I've seen my children? Like, and you're just like, oh my God. It's not worth it. Like,
So if anyone's watching the YouTube video or watching this live right now and you're thinking about a career in voiceover, do it. It's great. It's absolutely great. It's so much fun.
Yeah. Like, I'm so glad I transitioned to characters because I would rather be in the booth yelling and screaming and crying for like 500 hours than I would doing e-learning. It doesn't pay me any money, but at least it's better. Hi, Sweet Glass. How are you? I like your name. That's a cool name. We're doing theoretically, we're doing some voice acting coaching. We've been on a little bit of a tangent about the industry.
I've turned this into a podcast. This is something completely different now.
Oh my God, we should start a voiceover podcast. I love this.
That's very fun.
Okay, let's get back into this so I can give you some of what your time has been. What I promised. So, we have you as a butler character. We brought those emotions forward. We added the tension, so we had a bit of the refined with the emotions. What I want to do this time is I want to switch us to the young buck guy who has maybe not been with this kid all his life, whether he's been there a couple of years, a substantial amount of time, or is relatively new to this kid in his life is up to you and your decision. But I want you to bring this energy of like, you are a little less refined, a little less, what's the word they use over there? Posh? You're a little less like, yeah, a little less.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's still a child, right? You're still keep that in mind, but bring a bit more of the street young energy to it and see where it takes you, okay?
Okay, I'm gonna do the terrible impression of the Pennyworth live action. Like, I don't
Go
even know
for it.
who owns that, but I'm gonna go for it. See what we get.
Okay,
Right.
whenever you're ready, go for it.
I believe that you'll become the strongest champion the world's ever seen. But for now, you must master the basics.
Do it again. Give it actually to me faster.
I believe you'll become the strongest champion the world's ever seen. But for now, you must master the basics.
Okay, give me it a little snarkier. Like you're old enough, you should know this by now.
I believe you'll be the best. I believe you'll become the strongest champion the world's ever seen. But for now, you must master the basics.
Ooh, I like that. I think that works well for this sort of more young person where he's a bit like, dude, you're like, what, 12? Like, you should know, even though it's a child, he's like, bro, like, hello, Ramen Jesus. Yes, we've got a very talented individual with us today. But yeah, I like that energy. So what I want to do for a second is, I do think we're going to go back to it, but we're not going to go on a tangent this time. I do think there's still like a very specific cadence or pattern in there that we're getting stuck in a little bit. So what I want to see you do is I'm going to do an exercise that let me make sure that it is the one that I want. Because if we do this one, I'm going to have you do the other one. So what I want you to do is pretend that comma after now just isn't there.
Okay.
It's just not there. And I want to see how you do it. And if that doesn't change anything, then I'll make the exercise a little bit more potent. And we'll see how it goes. Whenever you're ready.
I believe that you'll become the strongest champion the world's ever seen. But for now, you must master the basics. That's a different accent. That's just a different person who said that line. Just a different guy.
That's okay. He can be whatever guy you want. Okay. So, yeah, because we're getting into the cadence. I know. Trust me. We've already been talking about the accent, Ramen Jesus. It's Lon, another hot guy added to the roster. I mean, listen,
I was watching
Go
The
ahead.
Gentleman, like the new Netflix TV series.
Yo,
and
so
that's
was
it.
I.
He just fell out. Yeah.
Yo, that is what that. Oh my God, that is what that is. Yeah, what's hilarious too is like, I fucking love when everybody comes on with their like unique voices, but I especially love when mask people come on with masculine voices because I'm a high-pitched bitch. And there are days that I wish I could get down there. Like, and so I love it.
I just get as close as I can and hope for the best.
Bro, I fucking wish, bro. I wish. But there's a flip side to everything. I can probably go higher than so it's okay. it's alright. But anyways, so here's what I'm gonna do. I don't care quite as much about the young buck versus the old posh. I think either one is fine. So channel either, channel and in between, channel none of the above, whatever you want. But what I want to do here is I want to take out a bit of the structure of this. And what I'm going to have happen is I'm going to give you a scene. I'm going to jump in here with you. So I'm going to be the kid. And then I want you to respond to me with this. And you can use... do I want to give you that ability? I don't know. I like taking things away. I'm not going to let you use any other words. So you do have to only respond with this dialogue. You can't say like, like you fucker or whatever, nothing like that.
Right.
You always have access, even if I say no other words, to like laughing, screaming, crying, sighing, noises. Whatever noises happen are fine. But no words. So I'm going to start you off by being the child here in this situation, and then whenever you feel like you can come in with this, and whatever energy or feelings it brings, respond back to me with this, okay?
Okay.
All right, here we go. Nah, fuck that, dude. You don't know what you're talking about, okay? If I want to beat him, I can't be using stupid shit like this.
I believe you will become the strongest champion the world's ever seen. For now, you must master the basics.
Okay, pause. The energy that I just threw at you was hard and forceful. You don't have to come back at me with that energy, but if you're not going to bring it back, you need to do something.
Okay.
Right? So you can stop it, you can shut it down, you can throw it back, but think of some almost like if it's a physical movement. Don't necessarily have to do one, but think of in some way as if I'm chucking a ball at you, a baseball or whatever it is at 90 miles per hour. I don't know what it would be for you, but if I'm chucking it real fast at your face, you need to catch it, or you need to throw it, or you need to block it, or you need to dodge it. Whatever you need to do in that situation, respond with these words with some sort of action back to my throwing, okay?
Yeah. So my thinking for that one was just in a loud situation, the way to demand attention is to be quiet.
Absolutely.
But I will mirror a bit better, and I'll join you where you are.
Okay, you're more than welcome to. I will also say your instincts were totally fine, right? I get where you were coming from of the way to be the one that takes the room is to be quiet against someone who's being loud. If you choose that path, make it more significant.
Okay.
I'm throwing the ball at you really fast. So if you're going to be the one who shuts it down, you need to make it a lot more powerful that you are going, nope. Yeah. It's not a ball. It's a right, like, make it more strong, okay? Okay, you ready?
Yep.
All right, here we go. Nah, fuck this, okay? I can do better than this, and he's gonna come at me with a lot stronger moves than what you're teaching me.
I believe you will become the strongest champion the world has ever seen. But for now, you must master the basics.
There it is. Okay. Beautiful, right? Because it was the second of what happened this time around is you gave yourself the chance to catch it and then do what you were going to do with it, right? We don't just like, boop, it dropped. We have to do something to stop its momentum. Yep. And then we can send it back. So that was really powerful because you came at me where I was, but you didn't stay there. And I really, really liked that because you had this moment of like, where you were like catching it and you were like, shut the fuck up, child. And then you were like, and you sort of brought it to you as if you were in control of the ball. Oh my god, we're getting a bunch. I've been wanting to voice act as one of my characters. You guys came to my page. Hi, Sweet Glass. So I'm glad you're here, and I'm glad you have been wanting to voice act. Check out all our community. Say hello to everyone. And, stay along and see what it's all about. The little voice waiver was nice. Yes, Lon Lon. That's exactly correct. You had this moment when you were, like, talking or whatever, where you had this second of, like, and your voice went a little bit.
I'm not gonna do it.
Literally, as if you were like, those things where they go like to slap somebody. You had that moment of like, it like cracked just a little bit in your voice. I was like, yeah. I'm gonna ask you, how did that feel doing it that time around?
I mean, he's a slightly different person than I was thinking initially, but it felt good. It felt, again, what you were saying about like making sure that I was matching your energy going into it. I think you're right. I think in terms of making it feel cohesive, especially if we were thinking like a dub setting, you don't want it to feel like here's one line and here's another person did another line. You want to make sure that these people are in the same place at the same time. And I think that brought them together a lot more. Whereas I was thinking about me, I wasn't thinking about us in the scene, which is very bad acting. Acting's reacting. So...
Well, you're right that acting is reacting, but I wouldn't say that you were fine. I'm not going to call you bad.
I can do it. It's okay.
Okay, fair enough. But yes, you're 100% correct. I also think, like, you do it in a way that's, like, very subtle. Your style of, like, acting and voice acting has very subtle changes to it, and it's really intriguing to, like, listen to as a listener, also to play against, but, like, to listen to because it makes us focus in a bit more to what you're actually experiencing in this moment, which is a bit of why I'm doing these multiple, like, pushing back at you and telling you to change it or to bring more to it, because you have such a subtle way of saying things and way of feeling it that I want to make sure it's all coming across very clearly while we're listening to it, and that we're not going, oh, hold on, play that back, right? I don't want to play it back if I'm listening to it. I want to hear it the first time I go, whoa, pause, right? Like, That's what I want. So that's what I'm pushing for. I think we do it again. I'll bring you in. I'm going to come at you with a whole different energy. Again, you're welcome to match. You're welcome to not match at all. But think of it in this idea of I'm giving you something, whether I'm throwing, I'm handing, I'm, tossing, I'm kicking it, whatever motion I'm doing, I'm going to be doing some sort of motion, and I'm sending the conversation to you, and then receive that conversation in some sort of a catch, whether it's a hug, whether it's a, ooh, it was up there, whether, a basket on the floor. You are catching it, I am sending it, okay?
Great.
All right, you ready?
I think so.
All right, here we go. Look, it doesn't matter, okay? I can't fucking do it, and I'll never be able to do it. Why do you even care?
I believe you'll become the strongest champion this world has ever seen. But now you must master the basics.
Good, excellent. I'm going to throw a new one at you. Are you ready? Okay.
I think so. Let's get it.
Whatever. We've been at this for hours, and not only do I not seem to get it, but it doesn't seem to matter, because no matter what I do, I'll never be good enough.
I believe you will become the strongest champion this world has ever seen. But for now, you must master the basics.
Beautiful. Good. One more. You ready? Okay. Fine. You want me to do the basics so goddamn bad? Do it yourself. Let's see you do it, old man.
I believe you will become the strongest champion the world has ever seen. For now, you must master the basics.
Ooh, that's what I wanted. Okay. Very interesting, thoughtful analysis going on. We have to, that's what acting's all about, is getting in the nitty gritty. Before I say anything about those three, what did those three feel like? Like, what were you feeling or envisioning catching like versus my sending?
I think it was a lot of physicality. I think
Okay.
that was the first thing. As I sort of, it was the easiest one to reference back to was when you were feeling defeated and deflated.
Mm.
Getting there was a relaxing of what was previously quite a tense character,
Mhm.
and then when it was more aggressive, it was combative, it was chin forward, it was that kind of physicality to it. I think the last one felt the hardest, and I think you could hear me discovering what I was doing as I was doing it, which may have come across as natural. It may have come across as hunting through the words. Um, but yeah, I think, like I said, I think the physicality, which is an advantage we have on this call that you wouldn't necessarily have if you were
Absolutely.
pulling a piece together, was definitely that was the connection point for
Okay.
me.
Okay. So a couple of things here. I'll speak to the physicality in a moment. Ooh, as I hiccup, they're here, chat. They're here. I hiccup all the time. Oh my god. But I'll speak to the physicality in a moment because that's something I talk about a lot. But when you say that for the third one, it may have come across like you were fishing or finding it, I would argue I don't think one is. I understand what you're trying to say, whereas like one is like you can hear that you're not there, and one is like emotionally like we're feeling it with you. But I would argue I think that's okay and that they're a little bit intertwined because it's okay to be doing the dialogue as a character who in this moment doesn't know where he is, doesn't know how he feels. So there was a little bit of both, but I think in a very cohesive way where it was like less than, it didn't feel like you knew the line and simply weren't sure how to say it. It felt more like you as a character were trying to find the words, which really, really resonated well. Because it gave an organic feel to it where it was like you were trying to be like, what the fuck am I supposed to even tell you right now? Like, could I go do it? Yes, but that's not the point. Like, you had all these sort of things that were stirring that were really cool. It also did, I don't know how, sometimes these are mysteries, it managed to do what I was trying to do exercise wise, which is push you out of this cadence just the ever tiniest bit.
Yeah.
Did you pick it up?
Yeah, so that's a really bad habit that I have, especially when being directed, where I'll see something and I'll be like, this is how this is said. And then getting out of that is something that I've been working with coaches and stuff to be like, your gut instinct isn't necessarily the right instinct. So being able to start diverging. Again, you find like operative words, you find places like this is where I'm going to put my impact, this is where I'm going to put my
Yes.
weight. And as soon as somebody goes like, it's not going there, it's just being able to come off that track. And that's one of the biggest, most important things that we need in our toolkit is being able to be flexible and to change. And it's something that I am working on continuously.
So I speak about this a lot too. It goes back to when we were talking about cadence and stuff that you were talking about. It's exactly what you said it is we will, in our brains, whether we do it forcefully or whether we do it subconsciously, we will pick moments to breathe. We will pick moments to pause. We will pick words to emphasize, even when we don't mean to, and sometimes when we do mean to, because it'll help us get into the character a little more. And then we get stuck in repeating it that exact way, breathing at those exact points, etc., etc., etc. And everybody has to work on it 24/7. Anybody who can just switch it up is fucking crazy. But like, it's one of those things where from a traditional theater standpoint, that was my big thing, is like when I went to school for like acting, I could not do the lines differently because I had assigned a specific physical place or pose or something to the way that these words were said, and trying to disconnect the two couldn't work for my brain. So when I transitioned to brain, where'd you go? When I transitioned to voice acting, there it is. I all of a sudden had this sort of journey of you can't take away physicality, which we're going back to as you had spoken about before, when you voice act, because you will not be able to act if you do not do the physical. It's one of the reasons you will never see me sitting on any live stream or any recording. I cannot sit down. That's me personally. Other people are fine to be able to physically act while they sit. But for
I find it crazy when somebody's like, you get like a full power, like sword swing or impact, and they're just sat in a chair, just like, ah!
I know.
How have you done this?
Right? Oh my god, it's crazy. But I learned that I couldn't not bring the physicality, but because I no longer had the visual aspect, I could do physicality wherever I needed to do it. And it suddenly allowed me to change up the dialogue and the cadence of my speech a lot easier because I could now change the way that I'm moving and I'm posing. And I want to try that a bit with you. I don't know what kind of camera or setup situation you're working with, so I don't know if you can stand and still be seen on camera.
So we're currently all the way stood up. So
Hell
we're
yeah.
okay.
A fellow stander, thank God.
Honestly, you were saying about doing audiobooks. The idea of sort of sitting down for multiple hours doing it, nah, couldn't do it. Couldn't do it.
Absolutely not, bro. And it's one of those things where it's like, I love when oh my god, you're a fabulous person. That's all I have to say. You literally have made my night. Like, no hate to anyone else because everybody's at a different part of their journey, and also because everybody works differently. But when I find somebody who's like, yes, I also stand. Yes, I also have this kind of speech. Yes, it's very nice. So like, this has been lovely. Okay, so we're gonna do some physical shit.
Okay.
If at any point I'm like, do this thing, and you're like, I don't really want to do it, just let me know. We'll move on.
The other thing I was going to say is we got a fair bit of space in here, but if you ask me to start doing star jumps or anything like that, then I might be a little bit restricted.
I got you. I'm at like a 6-foot top, I think, so I won't be doing anything. I got good wide range though.
Oh, what? No, I can touch your corners. Yeah.
This is my dad and I built this booth, so we built it for me to move in.
Cool.
But yeah, no, the ceiling's the only thing we didn't prepare for. It's funny because when I take this to conventions, I built it for like my height and I'm 5'4", so it goes to like 6 feet, I think. And then I'll have like people sign up to the thing that I bring to conventions is I bring this booth and they come in and they record lines of dialogue and stuff. And so
Available next week.
yes, please come to ZenkaiCon. It's literally just what we're doing now. You just don't get an hour. You get about 5 minutes. So but it was funny because we did our first one back in February and everything was like ready to go and I was like, this is going to be great. And then I started looking at the people who came in and being like, you're over 6 feet. You're over 6 feet. You're over 6 feet. I was like, oh no. So the amount of poor people who would come up to my booth and I would go, okay, please enter. And they'd have to go like this to the microphone so that they could talk.
So open up your vocal airways and squat.
Exactly. I was like, I'm so sorry. There's nothing I can do. They were all super sweet about it. But yeah, that's what made me think of it. Okay. So, physical shit. Here's what I want to do. So a little bit of what we were doing earlier where I was saying I'm throwing something to you and you're receiving it. There actually is, I don't know how much traditional sort of stage acting experience or lessons or anything.
So I've not through like a school path. I've just taken acting classes in Soho, London, don't you know?
Ooh.
And I'm currently connected with a play that's happening mid-April. If you're in the UK in the Bedfordshire area, come see Wind in the Willows at the Place Theatre.
Hell yeah, absolutely. Oh my god, I was there. I was not in that theater, but I was in London once, and I'm a Shakespeare bitch, so I went to go see a Shakespeare play. So the Royal Theatre, or whatever it is.
The Globe.
Yeah, the Globe. Yeah, it was dope. It was just as pretentious as the ones in America, but it was fun. I went over there being like, yeah, it was so funny because I was like, I can't wait to see how they do it. I wonder, what kind of like differences there are gonna be. And I sat down and I watched the whole thing and I went, yeah, these feel like people in New York. Yeah. It was so funny because I love Shakespeare. I'm like an old timey bitch. But no, everyone who puts it on really thinks they got a magical brain and then the first person to ever do it. And I was like, okay. But it was good.
honestly, I can't get the. You're talking about cadence. Shakespeare is like, gotta make sure you're on the beats, because otherwise
Mm-hmm.
everything's gonna get thrown, unless it's supposed to get thrown. And I'm sitting there thinking like, I don't know what I'm doing. Why is this happening to me?
It's so funny because I'm not gonna I'm not gonna talk too much about it because I want to dox where it's at. But there is a Shakespeare. There's happened a couple of times where people will take Shakespeare and they will try to reinvent it or to create new like morals and stuff out of it using the old text. So they'll do things like gender swaps or like blind genders or like taking parts out and making characters multiple people, things like that, which is totally fine and dandy. But the little piece that I was getting to is you gotta have a very clear like, this is the reason I'm doing this, and this is what the topic that I'm exploring. Otherwise, it just kind of feels like, oh yes, I'm doing Shakespeare, and isn't it so cool that I can do Shakespeare? And you're just like, bro, relax. Like, okay, calm down. Like, okay.
It is the definition of it's all been done. The idea of trying to reinvent Shakespeare. It's like, well, he told every story there was, so good luck with it.
Exactly. Like I do like his big ones because I'm not a comedy person. No, you did not. Shut up, Lon. You did not get the British accent. I swear to God, that was transatlantic. No.
I felt something in there.
That's probably the better one too. At least it wasn't the Zelda.
I'm afraid we can't actually end the stream without that. So you can decide where it's going. But if this is kind of in the back half, then you need to start thinking about where it's coming out.
Okay. But yeah, no, because I love all shit. I don't really do comedy, so I love his like classic dramatics that everybody knows, like Macbeth and Hamlet and Richard III and all that shit. But like, I don't know. Sometimes I'm just like, you could just listen to what he wrote because he wrote really good pieces. You don't have to reinterpret like everything.
How dare you be so controversial live on the internet? That is, my
I know,
goodness.
Right? I'm like, one of these days, I will have a Shakespeare stream. When I feel like coming live and just having no one in my chat, I will absolutely pull up Shakespeare
It
and discuss
is a
it.
way to alienate an audience.
You think Twitch doesn't know where to put me with acting content now? Wait until I put out Shakespeare. Or Moliere. Or fucking, who's the motherfucker that I hate but I love with all my heart? Oh my god. What the... It's his rival. Fuck me. Marlowe. Like fucking Marlowe. I will pull out Dr. Faustus and every single person in here will be confused, okay? Like... One day.
I think just like turn that whole thing into your TikTok feed and just see what happens.
See what
You'll find a
happens.
new audience. They're
Oh
gonna
my
be very
God.
excited about it.
I really should. Right now, my TikTok feed is like all D&D, which is lovely because I love TTRPGs and D&D. But I'm about to do a Shakespeare one because that's the bitches I need. Like,
This is where you get that crossover. Figure out how you can like 5e some Shakespeare. It's gonna be great.
oh my god. Okay, all right. Talking too much. I'm going on. You did not hear it, Ramen Jesus. Shut up. Nobody heard a British accent. Stop it. Because I'm definitely the judge of it. So stop. Okay. Physical things. So what I was getting at with the acting lessons type of thing is, did you ever do
Are you gonna ask me about theatre games and like you throw a rock and it's that heavy when it lands? And
No.
Nope? Okay.
Yes, Shakespeare D&D, Ramen Jesus, you down? Let's go. But there's a specific thing that it's called, psychological gestures.
Okay.
So that's probably a no. Okay, don't. So there are a few things that you learn. I don't know if it's Miser. I don't know if it's Stanislavski. Fuck the Russians. I'm kidding. I didn't say that. Don't come after me.
Congratulations, you just started an international event. This is a great stream. We're doing really well.
I know, right? Actually, one of those guys I like. So I don't know which one. But it is what it is. So there's something called psychological gestures that's in some sort of like. Actually, that might be the old white woman's things. There's a weird thing in traditional acting where, like, the canon is filled up of Russian men, like, old Russian men, and, like, 70-year-old British white women.
So
And
this
that's
is
it.
the acting class meta. Like
Yeah.
you have to be one of these two. Okay, great.
Well, no, this is what you learn from. So these are like
Okay.
the teachers with the real acting methods that you learn in school is from one of these two sides.
Okay. Okay.
I don't know
But
why.
you have to pick. Like
Yeah.
not you can't do both. You
Woman,
have to either
man,
like who
Russian,
you are, where
British.
you are, what you are, and live in it, or whatever the English are up to these days.
Exactly. It's crazy. I'll have to go through. I gotta tell y'all all about acting school. It was fucking wild. But okay. So psychological gestures, there's a bunch. I'm not gonna go through them all. If someone ever watches this that knows what they are, hit me up. They're crazy. But basically, it's a way of putting physical movement into things that you're doing and into your body. Now, it's technically for stage acting, so it's a little bit more of putting it into a physical character. I use it for voice acting. I just don't make it so mechanical. But basically, one of the things I was doing where I was sending you something and you were catching it, that's a part of psychological gestures. So what it literally is I would say my dialogue while doing that and throwing the words at you. And you would say yours while you're catching it. A little bit of what you were talking about with catching the ball, except there are specific ones that they attribute to each other. So there's, let's see if I'm going to remember them all today. The easy one, besides like throw and then catch, which I think they call embrace, it's dumb, but it is what it is. There's also the classics of like push and pull. There is, there's one that's really weird for people, which is reach and drag. Those are opposites, push and pull, the throw, the catch. And then there's like ones that bring you up and ones that bring you down. So I think it's lift and, nope, don't remember the down one. It's lift and something like that.
Okay.
There's also like big and small, which have different words than big and small, but that's the essential of them. It's different ways to take up space and to send your energy out. So you can also do them at different speeds. So you can throw like I was doing like that, or in one or two of them, I was giving you like a type of a throw, right? And you were just kind of like, okay, relax, like put them out, yeah. That's kind of what we're going to do here. I won't do it quite as formal, but we're going to throw a few of these physicalities into you saying your dialogue and into me giving you something. So, you can respond with any sort of physical, like, motion you want. It doesn't have to be the opposite pairs that I was giving to you, but I do want you to respond with some sort of physical movement when you get to your dialogue, okay?
We'll see what we do. If you're like, not big enough, then just call me
I
out
will.
on it. Cool.
I will. If there's one
Great.
thing people learn, it's real fast, is I am the Theta Sigma. Yes, it is press. Why do you know this, Theta? Wait a second. It is press. It's lift and press. Oh my god. What the? Theta, are you a secret?
I think we found somebody who's going to be joining one of these classes in the very near
what?
future.
Theta, I will get out my whole acting book for you when you join a coaching class, all right? We'll go through the words. Okay, so I'll give something to you, and you will learn real fast. I am absolutely going to tell you to do it again, do it bigger. It's just how it goes, so don't worry about it.
Cool.
Let's see. What do I want to give to you? Let's give... Ooh, okay. You ready?
I think so.
Okay, here we go. I can't fucking do this, okay?
I believe you will become the strongest champion the world has ever seen. But for now, you must master the basics.
Ooh, I love the flick at the end.
Little sassy bit at the end, yeah.
Little sassy. Interview with Samantha Bayer. Theta, you are above my head. You are doing some good ass work. I left all that in acting school. Okay, that was beautiful. I like that you started by like mirroring me back and then sort of flicked it back at me. This time, don't mirror. And I want to see what comes out of you, okay?
Okay, great.
All right, so I'm going to give you a... Okay, here we go. I can't do it. I'm never going to be good enough.
I believe you will become the strongest champion the world has ever seen. But for now, you must master the basics.
Okay. I saw the energy getting in there.
So one more time. So it's lift, pressed, we can lob it, we can catch it, we can embrace it, big, small. That's it. Any
Yeah,
more for any more?
you can do any, so there actually is a flick and something with flicks. You actually did one without knowing you did it. I just don't generally do them because it's really hard for people to get the difference of like throw and flick. So you did it though. I'm more proud of you. Yes, technically those are what they are: push, pull, reach, drag, outward, whatever you want to call it, any, and then you got like the up and the down. Those are technically, and the throw and the catch are technically what they are.
But you can say play and just
I'm gonna say play.
See what comes out.
It's okay if it's not those traditional movements. It's okay if it's a variation of those movements. All I'm gonna say is keep it as exaggerated as you can. Try not to make it too like, now I did the thing and I say the words. Keep it going, okay?
We open big and then I'll just continue doing what I was going to do anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see what I got for you. Oh, okay, you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, here we go. I already told you I can't do this, okay?
I believe you will become the strongest champion the world has ever seen. But for now, you must master the basics.
Ooh, I like that combination.
That was like a bit of a sassy backstep. That's I think everything starts pretty similar and then just sass at the end. This is who this guy is now.
I love this. I love that sass has become a part of him. Okay, here's what I'm going to throw at you now. Flip it. I want the sass on the first part. See if you can give me the sass in the beginning and then come serious at the end. Exactly. Okay. That's my favorite part is when you go, oh no, that's my favorite part. Okay. Sass then serious. Here we go. You ready? Okay. Oh, please. I could do better than you in my sleep. I'd like to see you try.
I believe you'll become the strongest champion the world's ever seen. But for now, you must master the basics.
There it is! Ooh! Damn, that one was coming in hot.
It was something different. I don't know what he was up to that day, what had happened to set him up in that kind of way.
Someone in his drink. Oh my god.
This conversation's obviously been going on for weeks, so he's just spicing it up, trying what he can.
Oh, I love this. Okay. Now here's what I'm thinking. Do I want to do it that way? Yeah, I think I do. Okay, so I want you to give me the way this shouldn't be done. Whatever the exact opposite of the physicality and emotion and vocal that you think would be in this piece, give me the exact opposite of it. I want it to be like dirt in your mouth, where you're like, hey, why did I do it like that? Like, that's what I want. Okay, you ready?
We're gonna find out.
Okay, I'll lead you in again. Here we go. Just teach me something better, old man, okay? I mean, what am I supposed to do? Go kick a ball with him?
I believe that you'll become the strongest champion the world's ever seen. But for now, you must master the basics.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know who he is, but we are not friends.
Whoa, how did that one feel?
That's we're never doing that one again. That one's gonna get put in a box somewhere that we can use for exercises and never try and sell.
Oh my god. Bro, everybody laughing in the chat is having a good old time. Bro was like Girahim, actually. I liked it. That was a little Girahim, huh? Oh, yep, I'm a Zelda girly. That was a little Girahim. Ain't no way! I love this, oh my god. Oh my god, that was so fantastic. Okay. We're still in a bit of this. Look at the little Link emotes. Oh my god. Y'all have to come back. I know I do late streams for y'all, but y'all better come back because I need to see these emotes again. No, I love all of you. You're great. Okay, we're still in a little bit of this pattern of speech. I want to try
Yes,
and
we
break it a
definitely
little
are.
more. Yeah.
Specifically in the second half as well. I think we were just sort of like,
Yes.
now that I'm done.
Yeah.
Out of curiosity, have you like I was sitting there thinking like the Weevil voice. Do you have that in you? Just so I could
Yeah.
get like a sample, see if I could steal it from you.
Yeah, you want to try and steal it?
I was wondering if you had it because I cannot remember it for the life of me. I would just kind of put him somewhere there-ish, but
He is, he's a snot nose, though, so he's a little bit of like,
Yugi, you will never get past what I have.
oh my god, that is way trickier than I thought it was gonna be.
so it's it's as if you don't, your nose is stuffed. So his voice is,
We're kind of there-ish.
yes, now bring it up.
Ish and higher.
Yep, that's where it is.
Somewhere there.
That,
Oh,
yeah.
wonderful.
It's there. You're bringing your noise. So you're in the right place for your sound, which is in your nose. But you're letting your nose use it. So you have to take away. You're putting it in the right place. You're going,
I'm out here and I'm in my nose. Now take away this nose to get to a where you're breathing in your mouth a little bit. Now I'm at the weevil.
Yeah, that we almost went to fucking Digimon straight away.
you're Stitch.
Yeah, in fact, that's what we should have done.
I believe you were the strongest champion the world's ever seen, but for now, you must master the basics.
Oh, I
Perfect.
love that.
Perfect.
Okay,
that's what I'm selling from now on.
yeah, there we go. Yeah, the Weevil's a little interesting because trying to do that, if you're not used to like blocking certain airways, sometimes it can be a little weird to like. The Stitch is very cute, by the way. You do an excellent Stitch.
I think I'll take Weevil away to practice. I think otherwise
Okay.
we're going to be here for another 3 or 4 or 10 hours.
Fair enough. That's okay. There's plenty that I'm like, what in the fuck? How did you do that? Right? So that happens a lot. But yeah, that one's fun. We don't need Stitch. Everybody is like Stitch in the chat. So let's try and see if we can really break this pattern because it's really sticking here.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna ask you to punch every single word with the exact same intensity.
We're back to the and now welcome to. Okay.
Yes.
But,
it doesn't have,
with a
but
bit
not
more pace than
monotone.
that.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
it's not monotone. I don't want like robot. I want like brr, 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 brr. Put force behind it. It's just that they're all
Okay.
the same force.
For 2 sentences, back to back, bros. This
That's
mad.
correct. You don't have to yell, but he an angry bitch. Okay?
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Whenever you're ready.
I believe that you will become
No,
the
no, no, no,
strong-
no, no,
Nope.
no, 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 no,
Nope.
no.
Give it.
Mm-mm.
I put
It's
more on belief than anything
Bum,
else.
bum, bum,
I
bum,
believe-
bum. Yeah,
I believe that you will but not monotone.
not monotone.
Not monotone.
You can do
Okay.
it.
Well, we'll see. I believe. We did it again. I believe that you will become the strongest champion the world has ever seen. But for now, you must master the basics.
Great. Now only do it.
The must, yeah. Mm.
Only do it on articles. So that will, not will technically, that, the, has, anything that you're instinctually dropping because it's not an important word, those are the
Sure.
ones we're punching now.
Okay.
Okay,
We'll
give it
see.
a shot.
I believe that you will become the strongest champion the world has ever seen.
Ooh, you skipped
But
has.
for-
Go back. You skipped has.
All right. In fact, I'm gonna cheat. I'm gonna bold these words for myself.
Go
just
for
so
it.
I
Yeah, I
can-
usually highlight
No.
stuff.
Yeah. That the has
Four
but for now
and the again.
you must
Just four.
become- Just 4. Okay.
Mhm, four and the again.
You guys, you're gonna see me absolutely crumble. We'll be
Hell
doing this for the
yeah.
next 2 hours. Okay. Right. Ready?
You got it.
Okay. I believe that you'll become the strongest champion the world has ever seen. But for now, you must master
Not four now, but four now.
4 now. Okay. 2 separate words, not just the same word.
Correct.
Bundled together. Okay.
Do you have
resent
tea,
it,
by the
resent
way? Is that tea?
it. It's a little bit of throat coat. Just I'm cheating because it's the middle of the night, and I was like, okay.
I was just
let's see how
deciding.
we do.
I was just deciding whether you were an actual good vocal health person drinking like good tea for your throat, or if I could laugh at you for being British. But I'll let you keep going.
just like caffeine and milk during a vocal session, incredible.
That's all I
Well,
got.
you gotta do what you gotta do. Yeah.
There's a joke on here because one of my chatters will drink milk, and I will drink pop, which is Diet Pepsi for me, and it's the worst shit ever. But we do it. Okay. Anyways. Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
go ahead. Go
let's
ahead.
do it. Otherwise,
Okay,
no.
okay.
If I go on a side story again, you'll never get to leave. So
Okay. Go for it. Go for
Yeah.
it. Punch him.
Okay. I believe that you'll become the strongest champion the world has ever seen. But for now, you must master the basics.
Excellent. Do it again. Hit him harder. Go.
I believe that you will become the strongest champion the world has ever seen. Putting in more emphasis.
Yep.
Do it from the beginning. I believe that you will become the strongest champion the world has ever seen. But for now, you must master the basics.
Excellent. Even harder. Go.
I believe that you will become the strongest champion the world has ever seen. But for now, you must master the basics.
Great. Now, on every other word, I barely want to hear you. Mumble it. You don't care. I want it to be like, you remember, that's what I want.
So we're just banging just the ones that we're going
Just the ones, but the rest of them now are so useless we barely hear them. You can do it. Go for it.
for. I believe that you will become the strongest champion the world has ever seen. But for now, you must master the basics.
Excellent. Don't think about it. Just do the piece normally. Go.
I believe that you will become the strongest champion the world has ever seen. But for now, you must master the basics.
A little better. All right. We got rid of our punctuation cadence that we were having, where it was like
But
this.
we're still throwing words away, and people are paying for the entire script, not just the ones that I like.
Yes. So we got rid of this breath that we're taking after but for now. We got rid of that pause. We're always seeming to take a pause there. We got rid of it that time. That was good. We're still doing must master the basics. Which I know instinctually and actually technically your instincts are correct. That is the way that you would probably want to do it, is be like must master the basics. But I don't care because we're playing. So
Yeah. Okay. So give every word that people are, like, say, paying for, give them the whole thing instead of throwing them away. And then for that must master the basics, do you want that as a regular sentence rather than a bang bang bang, or what do you, without going as far as giving me a direct read that I can just copy, what do you want from that last sentence?
what I want is for this last sentence. Okay, let me see if I can put this in terms. I think what's happening is, okay, say must master the basics for me.
Just flat,
Just flat.
must master the basics.
Must master the basics. Can you? Okay. Can you say it in an American accent?
That's the nicest way I've been asked that question, because what I get really frequently is like, can you drop the accent? Drop the accent? What does that mean?
Oh my god, that's so fucking awful. Holy shit.
Yeah, it's good fun.
Yo.
That's playing in the American market. It's good fun.
Wow.
So just that line, or the
Just
whole
that must master the basics.
thing? Must master the basics.
Great. Can you do it for the whole thing now? Just do it. You don't have to perform it. Just do the whole
Just flat.
accent. Yeah.
I believe that you will become the strongest champion the world has ever seen. But for now, you must master the basics.
Okay. So this might not be an accent thing, but when you do the American must master the basics, we don't hold our, and this is not to fix your accent. This is to be why the your natural one might be keeping this cadence. When we do
Both is helpful.
when we do a must master the basics, we don't have the length that you're giving to your vowel in your natural accent. So when you're doing the must master the basics, and the American version, I'm going must master, like smooshing it really quickly, like ma, instead of like must master. So
Okay.
try to almost take the must master as if you're kind of smooshing them together as awful as it may feel, smush those words so that you're not dragging them out as long. Try to do that in your natural accent.
Shorter. Must master the basics.
Okay.
Must master.
Yep, do it again.
Must master.
There
Must
you
master
go.
the basics.
Okay, yeah. Try to keep the length away from the U and the A there, and I think it might break us out of this cadence a little bit.
Yeah,
A little bit.
it's definitely that word master. Master.
Uh-huh.
It's just-
It's pulling it. Yeah, and honestly, it probably is really weird to try and do in the accent you have to try and shorten master. But I think it might help. So do it as character, perform it for me. Just when you go into it this time, try and see if you can keep those words short.
Okay. I believe that you'll become the strongest champion the world has ever seen, but for now you must master the basics.
Try and make it a little tighter for me.
I believe that you'll become the strongest champion the world's ever seen, but for now you must master the basics.
That was a little better. It's definitely keeping this from being like a bump, a dump, and making it a
Sure.
little bit closer together. And that's just something that like might be a thing that is just kind of gonna be because of the way we speak. So like,
But
Is what it is.
it's now something that I can take away and practice and kind of try and tune. Even if I can't collapse it now, I can sort of play with it over time. So thank you very
absolutely
much.
right, absolutely. We've got like 10 minutes until we're at 2 hours. If you've still got 10 minutes in you.
I'm great. Yeah.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna get some death water. Hold on, because now I'm like, wait, I need some now too. We call it death water since it's not actually water, but no one on the YouTube edited video knows that because I edit all these parts out, so they think it's water. All it does is make me hiccup more, so I don't know why I do that, but
If it feels good, if it gets you going, then yeah,
oh yeah.
cooking with gas.
Well, the funny part is too, like, you're not supposed to drink anything caffeinated, but pop in particular, because it dehydrates you. So like, you're doing a lot of like exercise when you're voice acting, so like you're not supposed to dehydrate yourself. That's what water is for. But also like, exactly. I'm like, if I want to die live on the stream, I will. Don't clip that, because that will literally become my will.
Yeah,
Shouldn't have said that one. Remember when I said I don't think, I just kind of speak? Unfortunately, this is the consequence. That one will be my death warrant. They'll play that on my digital grave in 20 years. Okay, yeah,
Hey,
literally.
guys, you never guess what happened.
Exactly. Oh my god. Fox Daddy, yeah, the on fire emotes? Yeah, that's me. Okay, so, you know what? Let me ask you, is there anything you want to try with this character?
I guess the only thing that I'm curious about, one of the hardest things I think is, what if it was me? Like, what if I brought
Ooh.
how would I actually say that in a way that's believable? And I try and I fail. So I think that could be interesting.
Okay, so I'm gonna say just do it. Do it. Read it right now. Go ahead.
Okay.
Be you.
Hmm.
Give it to me whenever you're ready.
Just be me.
Yep.
Just be me.
The easiest thing.
I believe you'll become the strongest champion the world's ever seen. But for now, you must master the basics.
Was that you?
I think so. I threw it away a bit.
Why?
Which I
Why was
think
that
is me.
you?
But it's not an affected voice. I'm not moving myself to anywhere else. And although the energy was lower, that's what I'm like in real life. I don't sort of come with like a, hey guys, I'm ready to perform. It's like a, yeah, this is kind of it. So I believe that you'll become the strongest champion the world's ever seen. But for now, you must master the basics.
Okay.
It-
So,
I think is me.
okay. I believe you. I have no right to judge whether it was or wasn't.
Well, but again, I'm the worst judge for that because you've spoken to me for 2 hours now. Does that sound like me?
So, what I will say is, Cap, Lon is saying Cap. What I will say is, she says it's not you.
See,
Um,
this is it. That is the best person to judge.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
What I will say is, I think it is hard to have anything be yourself because they're not your words. And that is the hardest part about acting, is they're not your words. So I would say it's never 100% going to be you. However, if we're talking vocal tone and vocal speech, yeah, from what I've seen from you today, yeah, that was you. If we're talking personality and like the way you would put yourself into the world, it's never gonna work because you're not in this context, and context changes everything on how we react. Yeah. So I don't think you're ever gonna have a moment where it's you, besides vocally sounding like you, in which case it does. And I don't think you have an issue there. Is there anything particular when you try and do like a version that sounds like you? What feels like it's not you?
I think a lot of the time, like finding this, like, hey, I'm saying these words for the first time and I'm finding the truth in the situation. I think if I believe that you'll become the strongest, that's easier to find than you said about taking things away.
Yes.
Taking away, like putting on a voice, is the hardest building block to remove, because then it's like, oh, this is just raw acting. This is not like, here's all the voices that I've put in my toolkit. This is just the acting ability. Yes. And it peels away all the layers of defenses, and all we have left is like, I can't go too big because that's not me, and I can't use this voice because that's not me. So it's just what's left, and that's a scary thing to try and play with. I think it's the hardest voice to use, is the one that's just like, yeah, I'll just bring myself to work today.
I absolutely understand where you're coming from, and now I get where you're going to. You're going to the core of like what acting is, and that is technically what I teach. I usually don't teach it in there. It's gonna be 2 hours for you, but I don't know how long you have, because you're late. So like.
Yeah. I think it's, these profound questions that people ask at 2:51 in the morning.
So it's definitely something to play with, and maybe I'll have to have you back to play with that actual core, because that is something that I in my private coaching, when it's like I want to learn the acting versus some of the other stuff, that's primarily what I work on, because I think there is no greater performance and when you are there as a person. Now, I will say, and I think it's like Meisner or some shit, as I was saying about earlier, the old people, there is a type of traditional, like, acting style that is, oh, we want you to relive your trauma. Fuck that shit. Don't ever do that. Don't ever listen to anyone who tells you to do that. Fuck that shit. We shouldn't still be teaching that. However, if I was gonna give you, like, the 3-minute spiel or the 8, why does this say 3, whatever, the however long minute spiel of like what I would suggest for getting to the core of like the acting and the emotion, and I gotta take everything away, is figure out what part of being in an emotional state resonates with you naturally. So, for example, some people are visual people. If I tell you to close your eyes and to picture a beach and the sun hitting you and the smell of like burgers and sunscreen and the feeling of wind, right? If you can feel that, you can smell it, you can taste it, you can see it, you're a visual person. The way that you're going to get to this acting core of who am I when I'm angry like this character is, who am I when I'm sad like this character is by creating that visually for you. And then you'll be there. You have to live and breathe in it. You don't just get to watch it like an audience member. You have to put yourself in it. But the visuals would then be the thing that'll take you there. For me, I have aphantasia. I can't see anything. None of those senses are going to work for me. So the way that I do it personally is I will physically recreate reactions that my body might have in those scenarios. So I do a lot of horror work. I play a lot of victims. It's one of my favorite things to do. And the reason, the way that I actually almost solely get cast as my own voice and my natural performance for horror victims. And the way that I get there is I have like panic attacks at certain things. And so I know physically what my body does when it goes into that state. It'll start breathing very quickly. It will start going like panting or things like that. We might shake a little. There might be some sense of like my voice goes from here to here. There's very particular physical changes that I can make to go into that immediate, this is what my body does, this is what my voice does when I'm scared. Now you gotta be careful in both your visuals, your sense way, and your body physical way that you don't trigger actual scenarios, right? But for me, the physicality doesn't trigger anything that puts my brain there. They are able to stay separate because the brain is like, I know that I am purposefully causing certain reactions and like mimicking things. So that's oftentimes what I do to get into like a very specific emotional state, where it's anger or where it's sadness or where it's fear. If I need to scream, if I need to cry, it's a mimicry of, well, I know that if I start breathing faster before I start, I'll be here because I hit my microphone. The parts of my body that react in this way when I'm sad are going to immediately start mimicking. If I trigger one of them where I'm like, I breathe really quickly, now all of a sudden the rest of me is going, we're breathing fast, our eyes need to water, our voice needs to go up, and it sort of does it instinctually, but my brain is focused on this dialogue. So that's what I suggest, is do it in a safe space and a safe place, so that if you do have the chance that you're accidentally triggering an actual thing that's occurring, whether it's like, I didn't know this emotion existed, this is not okay. Do it with someone, whatever it needs to be. But analyze it. Take it down to its very nitty-gritty. It's the same way that a lot of people learn accents, is you take it down to, where does the tongue go? Where does the soft palate go? Is this in the front of the mouth or the back of the mouth? Even if you're doing the sense way, where you're like, I think it would work for me if I can see and smell and taste, that's great. Have a very specific scent. Have a very specific taste. Have a very specific sight or feeling on your skin. So that way it's less likely to trigger the like, I'm here. And it's more likely to go, this is the pattern that leads me to this authentic performance. Does that make sense?
That makes sense, and it's very useful. Thank you.
Okay, I hope I didn't just ramble for like the last couple minutes.
No, that was great. That really was.
Okay, good. But yeah, if we can ever get you back on, I'd be happy to help you play with it. I wouldn't do it for your first time. I would make you try it.
Yeah, just full anxiety attack for the audience. Let's get it. Just see how many like bits we can get in. The more we get in, like the deeper we go. We're gonna have a little heart rate live on stream as well. See how far we take it.
I make you sign a waiver so I can just like clip it and get millions of views. Like, no.
Just again, perfect TikTok or like YouTube short. Like, hey, I brought someone in. See how long it would take them to have a full nervous breakdown.
Right? I was like, I'm gonna make this bitch cry in less than 5 minutes. Ooh, got it. Like,
let's get it. Can I get some pogs in chat?
Yeah, literally. But yeah, I'm happy to, and I do that for all folks watching and for you too. I do that stuff privately too, because a lot of times those are vulnerable things and you need the ability to be like, whoa. So that's totally chill. Fox Daddy's little crying emotes. But because I do all the horror work, like my tagline is quite literally, people be like, oh, what do you do? And I'm like, I'm good at screaming, crying, and dying, is literally my tagline. So because I do a lot of that authentic, like, fearful places and scary and sad, and I don't often get to do the angry, because I love villains, but not everybody likes to cast this voice in a villain, which is fine. But I do a lot of...
On behalf of the British, I'm so sorry we've been stealing it. We can't
Keep
help
it back to me.
It's just, it's just kind of ours at this point. It's not, I didn't do it, I swear.
Unfortunately, also for, like, ladies, there's 2 types of villain, and it's Harley Quinn or, like, Seductress, and there's, like, nothing in between. And I'm like, I can do both of those voices, but, like, also cast me in them. So, like...
Yeah. Let me play outside of these 2 little brackets as well, please.
Right? But yeah, I do a lot of those work, so anytime you want to play with it or do it, I'm happy to help. I love doing all the authentic jazz and pulling true emotions, and even things that are like this where they're sort of more complicated than just a simple anger or a simple sad, right? You really gotta pull from like a I am so fucking frustrated, but also I respect you kind of. You gotta pull from that sense of like, because for me, frustration is, it takes the tense of anger. So it's very much, I'll do a lot of poses. So you'll often, if I'm doing frustration, there's something in my hands or arms that is like, type of energy. I'm always having this breathing of like, okay, type of thing. My eyes are almost always closed when I'm doing frustration because that's frustration in me as Rachel. Is like if something makes me frustrated, I'm very much the person who's like, I'm gonna block all of you out. Like, don't fucking talk to me.
So
like,
I can use my words instead of just gently throttling you.
Exactly. That's Rachel's frustration. So oftentimes I will do that for a character. But yeah, it's learning how to get so specific that you can turn it on and off without triggering things. Okay, I don't want to keep you for too long because I know it's like 3 a.m.
That would be alright.
Don't tell me that because I will keep you.
Okay, guys. Right. This was the first half. If anyone needs like a bio break, we're gonna get into the real meat now.
Literally, like if you think I won't keep you for a full 8-hour D&D session, you got nothing coming. Like.
Okay, I'll get my dice. We'll be alright.
Oh my god. But yes, I'm more than happy to let you go. Is there anything that you wanted to do though, or try, or get into before we close this out?
There's nothing that springs to mind unless there's something like, I'd really want to hear this from you. If you're happy that you've got what you kind of saw as available, then I'm more than happy. I did want to say though, thank you very much for having me, and also I don't think that people know how much work you're putting in behind the scenes to make these sessions happen. We got presented with so many options to go through, so many different types of characters that we could use. We had a call beforehand just to see what we were comfortable with, get to know each other. We had a call, like we started this session a little bit early to make sure everything was working and make sure that we were in like the right headspace. So just thank you very much, not just for today's session, but for all these coaching sessions that you're doing, because they're awesome. Thank you, Rachel.
Oh my god, thank you. None of this would be possible with all the people who joined me. Thank you, Lon Lon. I appreciate it. Genuinely, like, I just enjoy like helping people doing voice acting and also being an entertainer and like all of these things to be able to give people insight and access and like playing back and forth. This is one of the first, I love that emote. I don't know who she is, but I love that emote. This is the first coaching session that I've played back and forth, so that was amazing. I'm probably gonna do it more because I love it. But like genuinely, this is just kind of like something that I'm always grateful to have people enjoy themselves, and that's all I ever want. So I really appreciate that. And yeah, everybody's always welcome at any time. Please, bring whoever you want. I mean, not to sessions, but like introduce people to our community, do whatever you want to do, right? And I'm very much the same with all of y'all. I try to hop on when I see people that are like doing projects or, like streaming, because I have some streamers on and things like that. I just think sort of building a community is like the best place to be. Yeah, like it really is lovely. And I yeah. I don't know. Thank you. I really appreciate that.
Thank you. I'm walking away with heaps of new things to try and things to play with. And again, you've
Good.
identified things in my voice as well, which is so valuable to just sort of get some real like precision points to play with. So again, I've got stuff that I can work with in my general cell, but also that I can use for adjustments for my American, even though we tapped on it only for a second. Thank you very much.
Oh my god. Okay. I just realized you said American. I realized. Okay. All right. Don't fucking clip this. I swear to God.
I'm going to mute. I want to make sure that we get the full experience. Everybody,
Oh my god.
this is what we've been waiting for. I'm so excited.
Okay. I'm so sorry to every British person that exists. Okay, here we go.
But Link, don't you know that there's so many things out there that we can't understand? One day, though, I know you'll save the world, and I believe in you, even if no one else does.
Everyone, can I get some pogs and emotes in chat? Let's
Oh
fucking
my
go.
God.
Absolutely beautiful. That's it. That's got to go on your demo now. If it wasn't there already, it's time to start breaking out the Zelda voice. This is going to be great. You're going to be stealing all our roles now.
Oh my god, y'all. That's literally it. It's literally so funny because I know that it's not even that. Fuck that, I swear to God, don't clip that. It's funny because like I know that it's not even like great British, but it's
I've met that person before.
Have
though. You just that kind of like that is definitely a real voice with a real cadence, with a real rhythm. They're out
Okay.
there. You don't
okay.
get to see them at like the shops, but they exist.
They do exist. Okay, I'm not crazy then. Okay.
No. You're definitely you're in the space.
Okay, because like
Mhm.
no, I can't. That's one of those voices where like usually when you're getting into accents, you have like a specific phrase that like starts the accent until you're really good with the accent, and I can't not do it without going, "But Link." It's so funny because
That's-
she's not British.
Like, I love it when like the sleeper cell activation phrase is like something that whenever somebody listens to it, it's like, okay, like again, I will not do my Irish, but the stereotypical things that I jump into, it's like we cannot be rolling when that happens because otherwise I will get myself in trouble. It's me then pulling up the 23andMe going like, no, it's okay if I do it. Look, honest.
Oh my god, it's so funny because the shops are too common for Breath of the Wild Zelda. No, Fox Daddy, she's not a British actress. That's the point. Is the Zelda from Breath of the Wild is not a British accent. She doesn't have, that's a fake accent, which is why it's funny that that's my British accent.
So we're gonna shift Rachel from Zelda over to Dick Van Dyke next.
Yeah,
It's
there
gonna be
we
great.
go. Always baffled by the amount of British people in Hyrule. Really, it's so true. But with the Irish, it's so funny because like my family's from like Belfast, or like the Northern Ireland shit. But I also visited Dublin for like 2 days, like last year, and it was funny because I went there being like, okay, you know. They obviously are going to sound different than Northern Ireland, right? It's probably, you've heard all these like fake Irish accent, right? And all the stereotypes. It's going to be fine. I get there. We fucking get to the ground floor to get on a bus to go to Center City, Dublin. I swear to God, it was like being in a cartoon. I walked outside and I was like, hi, is this the bus I'm supposed to go on? And this man goes, oh, don't you know I'll let you on this bus? I was like, whoa.
Honestly, it's the speed as well. Like if you manage to discern those individual words, that was impressive enough. It's it's a different world.
Like they were saying turkey tree, and I was like, it's real. I was like,
Love
they
me a
say
turkey
that
tree. Yeah.
because because I don't know. There's also like this usually doesn't happen for accents, I don't think. But when I'm trying to like learn a new accent or when I'm starting to do an accent, my accents get attached to specific like styles of character. So like the British is attached to like posh little old Princess Zelda style. The Irish is attached to like classic granny gives you tea. And I don't know why, because my nana was dead by the time like I ever met anyone, but like my grandpa is not old. I only knew him late, but I don't think he had that voice. But my Irish is very like, oh darling, don't you know that that's not how I do things anymore? And sometimes we gotta come through here and you just need a little bit of help. And so it's like that, but it's attached to like this old lady guttural. And I'm like,
Yep.
because if you asked me, be like, oh, okay, be your age, I'd be like, I can't.
There's no way.
I can't
Like-
change the voice.
Both my grandparents, like all my grandparents, but both my grandmas were from Ireland.
Yeah.
And again, that moment you're talking about, they're like, oh, go on. Just another couple of biscuits, another couple of tea. It's the realest thing in the world. There was no way you would leave that place without onboarding at least 2,000 calories worth of like delicious comfort. So
my
it's a real thing.
It's so funny because, like, the stereotypes have to come from somewhere, but, like, I love it because some of the things my grandpa used to say, like, that I knew where it was like, because I went to Dublin, I was like, maybe it's just him, right? Maybe I shouldn't, like, I shouldn't attach it to other people. No, so many people did it because he would say things. My favorite was, since they were from the north, they were very Catholic, and so my favorite thing he used to do is when I was a kid, I would, like, say something fucking crazy. I'd say something crass, and, like, my mom would be like, Rachel. And my grandpa would go, I fucking love doing this. He'd go,
Jesus, Mary and Saint Joseph, will you leave the little girl alone?
And I fucking love doing that so much. Because I'm like, you can't tell me that's not real. Because I heard that all my life. Like,
And again, we live on different continents. I have heard that exact same phrase. It is, honestly, everything I tell you, it is real.
so funny. It's my favorite thing ever. Just leave the girl alone. Oh my god, this has been lovely. Okay, let me let you go before I keep you up for a bunch more hours. I'm gonna ask you for my edited version when I go to edit this, if you can reintroduce yourself and tell people where they can find you.
Cool. So, we're going for it?
Yep.
Okay. Hi, my name's Mike Yeager. You can find me at Mike Yeager VA in a few different places and at mikeyeager.co.uk.
Yeah! Okay, lovely. For my folks on YouTube, thank you for watching this video. Feel free, make sure you go follow Mikey, make sure you go follow us, and you maybe can get coached live on stream too, or privately, whatever you prefer. Or you can just join us in chat. We love our people in chat very, very much. Otherwise, keep doing you, and we'll see you in the next video. Goodbye! All right, my friend. I will let you go. So I'm also going to say, as I die here, for my chat and my folks as well, I'm also going to peace. Lo, I'm glad you had fun, Lon. And yes, Sidon is like vaguely transatlantic. Don't even get me started on transatlantic. That's technically an American accent. Oh my god, don't get me started on transatlantic. That shit's wild. But, I'm glad y'all had fun. Thank you for stopping by, especially to all the new folks. Ramen Jesus says you were amazing, and he was. It's true.
Thank you very much.
No, Fox Daddy, we're not going to do any auditions tonight. I have a very long week ahead of me, and I haven't had a great, mental health week and shit, so we're going to end it close today. But it's been a good almost 2.5 hours that we were able to run, so we went extra long with this character. I think this episode's been amazing. So I will send you guys off. Let me see if anyone's on for Twitch, and I can raid you guys. Oh, you can't see the visuals because I clicked off of Discord. Oh my god. There are people on. Okay, so let me open my chat. Is this gonna yell at me? I think it might yell at me. No, it's muted. Okay, and then I will send you guys somewhere. Okay, so I can send you guys either to Caliente, which folks who don't know, thank you, Fox Daddy, I appreciate that. You received your first voice acting rejection email today, Fox Daddy. That means you're getting somewhere. The first rejection, you gotta get it first.
That means you're trying. That's cool.
That's right. I'm gonna say thank you to everyone. I will send us somewhere as I get off this call with Mikey, rather than let him go and then we talk for a second. I'm just gonna let us all go. There's 2 people I can send you to. I can send you to 3, actually. I can send you to Catliente for folks who don't know. She's a really cool Twitch streamer who gives advice on how to grow a following, how to be an influencer, things like that. She's really dope. There is Skunky Designs, who is a plushie maker from Australia, and their whole thing is skunks and weird plushes, and it's super cute. We can go there too. And then Damian Haas is on, who's actually a well-known voice actor and someone from Smosh. And he's super dope. He's one of my voice acting idols, so I can send you to him as well. Do we have any preferences on where I send you guys? Or should I just ship you off somewhere? I got the raid button ready to go. My YouTube people, unfortunately... Oh, see, I keep clicking off the stream. My YouTube people, you like cute things? Okay, we can send you to Skunky Designs. For anyone watching on YouTube, unfortunately, YouTube doesn't let you raid until you have 1,000 subscribers. It's dumb. I don't know. But that's how it works. So I'll be sending the Twitch raid to Skunky Designs. We can all say hello to her just to give her a quick little hi, hope you're doing well. But otherwise, I'm sending you off to have a good night. Thank you for being with me here today. I will be on Monday. That'll be our last stream for a good week, maybe 2 weeks, because I'm going to be at ZenkaiCon next Friday. So we won't have a Wednesday one. We will have a Monday one. Join us if you feel like it. Put us on in the background if you're able to. Mikey, thank you for being here with us.
Thank you for having me.
We're going to say
Thanks for hanging out,
goodbye.
everybody.
Yes. Yes, I hope y'all have a good night too. Thank you. And I'm going to send the raid over right now. Here we go. Raid Skunky Designs. I hope I don't need to capitalize. Okay, so jump on the raid and I will send us off. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Goodbye, goodbye. I know you guys can't see me. I apologize. It's a Discord thing. Goodbye, goodbye. We're raiding. Goodbye.